I don't know, maybe it's just me, but is there anything better than a good old-fashioned 2D street fight? What's up everybody and welcome to another edition of AGR's Pop Culture Reviews. So this is it guys, Street Fighter is essentially the franchise that launched the fighting genre. It essentially paved the way for other successful franchises such as Virtua Fighter, Samurai Showdown, and the infamous Mortal Kombat. Hey, I freely admit, my nostalgia meter is kicking through the roof right now. Come on, you guys can't tell me you don't remember and love those times when you lived at the mall, waited in long lines to play Street Fighter, put your quarter on deck, and proclaimed, I got next. It didn't matter how big you were or how small you were, if you were a dork or a jock, when you stepped in that arena and accepted that challenge, the only thing that mattered was your skill. And when you took somebody down that was virtually unbeatable for several hours, you felt like a god. So, in honor of those really great memories, today we're going to be taking a look at Kotobukiya's Street Fighter Bishoujo statue of Sakura. But before we get into it, I gotta give a special shout out to Texas Toys for sending this wonderful piece over for review. Let's take a closer look. Kotobukiya has done it again. This Bishoujo line is amazing. The head sculpt on Sakura is absolutely impeccable. On this particular statue, they really got those anime eyes bright. And I love the flesh tones that they painted in her face. Looks really great. Unlike some other statues I've seen, they also didn't go too overboard on the application of her lipstick. Her uniform is particularly impressive. You can see the detail in the folds and how much time it took to make this sculpt really pop. I really like those subtle details and it looks amazing. I also really like the scarf in her uniform. The sculpt is done really well and it simulates flowing in the wind excellently. The only thing that I do have to gripe about is that it looks like Kotobukiya didn't do enough quality control here. You can see that the painting is rubbing off on her uniform and it looks really messy. It's very unfortunate. I am really impressed, however, in the flesh tones that they used in this piece. It looks absolutely amazing. I mean, look at those abs. They really did the shading well to simulate that musculature that this figure has. Really, really great touch. And as you can see, that shading extends to her entire midsection, and if you look at it from every angle, it really brings this three-dimensional quality to it. I really like what they did here. Sakura's bandana is really amazing. It has a very dynamic sculpt and extends all the way down to her midsection. This is very impressive. Now, I'm not exactly sure what technique they used here, but they did a really great job on her gloves. They simulate actual gloves really well. I also like that high gloss cherry finish that they use. It looks very impressive. As I mentioned before, the flesh tones and shading are expertly done, and this is really evidenced when you see her legs. They simulate the musculature very well and they make her look very powerful, just like she is in the Street Fighter game. The leg that's actually attached to the base is particularly impressive. You can really see some great detail, particularly in the tendons. The overall musculature coupled with the shading makes this statue look really powerful. Sakura's sneakers are also done really well. The sculpt in the shoelaces looks amazing. Her sneakers are also sealed in a matte finish, simulating the look of cloth and rubber very well. I know for all intents and purposes this is an anime character, but I think that subtle little touch adds a little bit of realism. In addition, I also like the sculpt on her second sneaker. It's raised slightly on the heel, simulating that she's pushing herself off. Really cool. I like the minimalistic approach of this base. It's just clear, and it really duplicates that effect of her launching herself into the air really well. However, there's one aspect to this statue that really kind of messes up the illusion for me, and it's the fact that Sakura is leaning way too forward on this base. That exacerbated lean forward is really throwing off the posability of this figure. Because of the way she's leaning forward, you can barely see her face, and that's a real shame. Very similar to the Talizora figure, this figure also comes with an inlay. As you can see, it has an image of Sakura similar to the art on the box. Behind her is the awesome Street Fighter logo. Again, this is a very simple inlay, so you simply put it in place, lock it up, and you're good to go. As always, I do have to mention this is a Bishoujo statue, and certain parts of the figure will be accented or exaggerated. But again, full disclosure, for me personally, I think that's one of the things that makes these statues absolutely amazing and very unique to have in your collection. Okay, time to get real. I can only speak about the statue that was sent to me for the purposes of this review. But I must say that this statue does have a few issues. Now, does that mean that it's a bad statue? No, absolutely not. Actually, it's a really great statue. But I know that some collectors are very particular about their statues, and little quality control issues like that may decide whether or not you want to pick her up. For me, it's not a very big deal because the overall package and presentation is really great. But that's up to each and every individual collector to decide. Alright everybody, that's my official review on Kotobukiya's Street Fighter Bishoujo statue of Sakura. As always, I thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next AGR's Pop Culture Reviews.